what if my financial plan doesn't work? What are some of my options to improve my odds of not running out of money? Because if I'm in my 90s and I run out of money, I don't really have any other options at that point.
Yeah, that's exactly what we try to fight against. There's so many people out there that don't have a plan. It's not live. They're not reviewing it with a professional every 6 months. It's incredible to me. I couldn't do it personally because you could be going down a path that you don't really realize that you are looking at running out of money at age 90, and you're 70 or whatever, 60 or something, and you don't know. And the plan at least give you some ideas on what's going to happen. So if your plan's not working at some point when you first start, then you look for all the different things that might be able to, enhance that plan. What do you have in real estate value? What might you do with that at some point in time? What can you do with your rates of return? How does that change things? Should you take more risk? Should you actually take less risk? Because sometimes if you take too much, that actually lowers your probability of success too, especially in retirement. And so those are all different things. How do you reduce your taxes, right? Because maybe your plan's not working because you have so much money going out in required minimum distribution taxes. And so, can we mitigate some of that with Roth IRA conversions? How much does that impact the probability of success in the plan? Um, I mean, there's a myriad of ways, and it's very custom. Uh, in terms of what solution's going to work for your situation. Obviously, one solution is to spend less. I try to stay away from that unless we really have to, just because retirement is about your lifestyle and trying to maintain that lifestyle. It might be better to try to figure out what to do with your home than to spend less, unless you don't want to do that. So that's somebody who is really really happy with their current standard of living, and they have a house that's worth a lot. Are they willing to move to a cheaper home and at some point later, maybe even when they're 80 or something along those lines, to capture some of the money that's in that home and make their chances more successful, or all kinds of different things you could do with your home equity and those types of things too. So yeah, but it's a good point. It's something we deal with on a regular basis. A lot of plans don't work the first time we run them. They're not that good in terms of probability of success, and they need to be reworked and take a look at and figure out what can we do to make them work. And then that's an ongoing process, every 6 months, just continuing to look at it and continuing to have a path that works, to make sure, because that's what you don't want. You don't want to end up, when you're 90 running out of money. That's for sure.
Yeah, and the nice thing about these plans are it gives you 5 to 10 years to fix a problem. It's not like this instant I'm going to run out of money. You
Yep.
got some lead time. And
Yes.
so maybe there's some fat in your budget,
Hmm.
maybe there's a couple of subscriptions to magazines or streaming services that you don't use and that
Right.
you could live without.
Right.
And so like maybe you just need to cut back a couple $100 a month and your plan works fine now.
Yeah.
And so just making these small adjustments, you don't have to very drastically change your lifestyle,
Right.
but it improves your success rate.
Yeah. Some of the big ones I look at are tax. Okay. So if I can reduce tax, that's not going to impact my lifestyle, right? At all. And so I'm amazed at how many people pay more tax than they need. And really, it's because they're not looking at tax planning, they're looking at tax preparation. When you only look at your taxes for that year and maybe the next year, it's really hard to make an impact. If you look at the tax projections for the rest of your life and then make small adjustments here and there, well, that's amazing how much difference you can make doing that. And the second place is like some of the big expenses, like mortgage, if you happen to have one. What about refinancing, right? And those types of things. So I mean, I've run into people with a 5% mortgage, and they're wondering how they're going to make it. Okay, go get a 3% mortgage. That's one that save a whole, doesn't change your lifestyle, other than the fact that you have to do a refinance, which can be very difficult sometimes, but that's short term. Yeah, exactly right. So just kind of really looking at the pieces that are in that. I try very, 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 very hard to protect the things that are really important and fun, the travel budget, the other things, the gifting and those types of things. And how can we find some of the things that are in the budget to reduce, if we're looking at that as an option, that don't have big impacts on the lifestyle. And there's usually a lot. It's amazing. And you're exactly right. even just a few $100 a month differential sometimes really brings up the probability of success because you're looking at that all the way through the rest of your life, plus inflation on that all the way through the rest of your life. And that's why it has such a positive impact to cut back even just a little. So, you could go up 20% in probability of success by cutting back, $300-400 in some of these plans that I've seen. So that's a great point, really is, as far as that goes. So